Okay, I guess we can start. So welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Łukasz, and I'm a senior recruiter here at Relativity. Today, I'm also joined by our engineering director, Sebastian Batuk, and our engineering manager, Łukasz Gawinski, as well as our tech leaders, Stefan Szarek and Maciej Piwowarczyk. So for today's agenda, we'll start off with the presentation that our team prepared for you. It'll hopefully help you get a basic understanding of what we do and what the team does, and hopefully encourage a further conversation. In the second part of this event, we'll break into Zoom rooms where you'll be able to join a casual conversation with our team, with the engineers and the leadership team, and ask any questions you want. And yeah, that's that. So before we start, I would like to give you a little bit of an introduction to Relativity and briefly tell you what we do as a company. So Relativity is a market-leading American company headquartered in Chicago with the second production office here in Krakow. And we also are located in London, Hong Kong, Melbourne, and San Francisco. So we definitely operate on a global scale. As a company, we create a platform that allows and is responsible for organizing, analyzing, and processing huge amounts of data that is used mainly in law and court processes. So about 20 billion of files per year go through our platform, and our clients are mainly law firms and government agencies. And they use Relativity to search for evidence during litigation. So what we basically do is help legal teams discover the truth and act on it. We can go to the next slides, Jenny. Yes, here. Let's stop for here now, for now. So here's some additional numbers, and you can see that we were founded in 2001, and we are currently at 1,200 employees, including over almost 200 employees in Poland, and we grow very rapidly. We've been growing constantly for the past few years, adding new teams and new products, and there's a lot of interesting opportunities ahead. There's currently over 300,000 enabled users with over 100 partners and over 130 apps developed for the Relativity ecosystem. So these are just some interesting numbers. We are currently present in over 48 countries, with over 8 countries being present when it comes to the Relativity One. So yeah, it'll hopefully give you a little bit more, a better overview of what the company does. But for now, I'm going to give it over to Łukasz, who will tell you more about e-discovery and what we do as a team. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I believe we can go to the next slide. Thanks, Łukasz, for introduction. I'm also Łukasz. I'm software development manager, and together with Sebastian, we are leading new in Krakow platform department from almost a year. So as Łukasz mentioned, I would like to describe briefly what kind of problems we solve, what is our business. So let me start, if we can jump to the next slide, from our mission. Organize data, discover the truth, and act on it. That is our mission at Relativity, and we help the world do it every day. Data volumes are rising and new information sources are popping up every day. Finding the truth between such huge amount of data can be nearly impossible. That's why market needs Relativity as a powerful and easy to use software as a service solution for big time legal challenges. So what is our business? If we can jump to the next slide, please. So simple answer is e-discovery. It refers to discovery in legal proceedings, such as litigation, government investigations, or Freedom of Information Act requests, where the information is searched from documents in electronic format. So electronic discovery reference model, you can see it here. This is a diagram represents conceptual view of the e-discovery process. And in the same time, this diagram describes briefly what our software is supposed to do, what processes is supposed to support and simplify. So let me describe it on a very high level so you can understand better what kind of software you can be involved in when you join Relativity. So let's focus first on the left side of this diagram. Information management, identification, preservation, and collection. All these steps are focused more on different official activities needed to start the process from low perspective. Starting from set of procedures, processes, policies needed to start litigation, through data preservation to ensure nobody will modify or remove data during the process, till data identification and collection to specify what is truly important to be taken into consideration as a part of specific case, and transfer this data from a company to their legal counsel, who finally will determine relevance and disposition of this data. And here, the most interesting part starts since our software enters the game. And now we'll focus on the right side of this diagram, starting from the processing. So with the assumption that native files are prepared to be loaded into a document review platform, collected evidence now has to be proceeded ahead of attorney review. Simply, it means cleaning it up by doing things such as deleting irrelevant data, converting files, unzipping, extracting text, extracting metadata, removing duplicates, and finally, ultimately, collecting it all in a single folder. Once all this data has been collected and proceeded, it has to be reviewed by legal teams to understand how it relates to the case at hand. Relativity as a document review platform can assist in many tasks related to this process, including the rapid identification of potentially relevant documents, serving advanced options for searches, for categorization, email analysis, and many, many more. So as you can expect, the next step, analysis, involves evaluating stored information for particular use during a legal matter. This means looking at the content and context, and according to the EDRM itself, identifying key patterns, topics, people, and discussion. So now, it's time to produce this evidence in a way that makes it usable during formal legal proceeding. In other words, legal teams need to consider how they would present this evidence in a defensible way. And the final stage, if everything before is ready, is a presentation. Once legal evidence has been produced, all that remains is presenting it during a legal proceeding like a trial or a deposition. Of course, that last stage presentation has also shifted away from paper towards more digital presentation. And as mentioned, all this right side of the diagram is fully supported by our software. So now let's jump into the sample. So if you can switch to the next slide, please. So keeping in mind process, few examples how live cases looks like and what can be a scale of investigation. As you can see, we speak about top biggest companies in the market, known from and in different areas. So you probably heard about Volkswagen and related diesel motor emission scandal. That's a sample of the case. I strongly believe that almost everyone knows Apple and Samsung. And that was another example of the case where they entered the competition who was the first with innovation and patents. And the last sample related with Google. European Union Commission finds Google had for illegal practices regarding Android mobile devices to strengthen dominance of Google's search engine. So now let's jump into simulation to realize what can be the scale. So assuming just 500 people have been involved into email communication, let's assume they were very active and resending emails to next engineers, sending it for others for transparency, or were creating sub paths or another email chains, just commenting those topics in different groups. Let's assume total 100 times per day. In the same time, assuming they've been involved so actively just half of the year. And finally, that the whole project took 5 years. It's possible, especially if we think about projects like new vehicle or new motor creation. With all assumptions mentioned above, this group generated 45 million emails. And this is just an email communication. So when we jump to the next slide, it can be much more data. It can be different kind of documentation. It can be chat conversation and other type of documents involved into litigation process. So you can imagine why tools like our is truly needed to help in the process. Litigation process. If we can jump to the next slide. Can we jump to the next slide, please? Yeah, so let me speak briefly about our customers now. So our solutions are used by thousands of organizations around the world to manage large volumes of data, to quickly identify key issues during litigation, internal investigations, and compliance operations with our tools, with Relativity, Relativity One, and our newest offering, Relativity Trace. Relativity has over 300,000 users in 40 plus countries, from organizations including the US Department of Justice, more than 70 Fortune 100 companies, and around 200 of the AM Law 200. And the last slide I would like to talk about, on the top of that, we cooperate with over 100 partners who build for extensibility and extended or integrate the solutions that best suit their unique workflows. And with that being said, now I would like we focus more on a Krakow, the office and platform itself. So I'm passing my voice to Sebastian now to speak about that.
Thanks, Luke. And hi, everyone. My name is Sebastian Batuk, and I'm a director in the platform engineering team in Poland. I would like to spend the next couple of minutes talking about our platform team and our platform product. So next slide, please. Okay, so Relativity is organized into functional divisions that we call verticals, and platform is one of the verticals. It was carved out as a separate vertical back in 2019, and it came to Poland at the beginning of this year. So we are a global team that was primarily based in Chicago and Krakow, but due to the COVID situation, we are now becoming much more distributed. And that's why we are not limiting our recruiting and hiring focus to these two locations only. We are pretty much open to candidates and employees from all around Poland. Currently, the platform vertical counts about 60 people, but we have quite significant growth plans, and we will continue to expand in both locations during the entire 2021. Next slide, please. So when it comes to our presence in Poland, we are currently the second largest vertical with about 26% of the engineering staff. This pie chart outlines a breakdown of the entire engineering organization in Poland. So you can also see what other teams have their presence here. And what's worth stressing is that pretty much every team on that list plans to grow and hire new engineers in 2021. Next slide, please. Okay, so now let's talk about platform. What is platform? One can say that platform is the foundation of Relativity, since it consists of a suite of administrative capabilities, core services, and extensibility points on which all other Relativity features are built. So imagine if you remove all the legal and e-discovery specific features that Luke was talking about just a while ago. If you remove it from the Relativity product, the features that remain are what we call the platform. And these remaining features are general purpose and focus on application extensibility. So that's why you can think of the platform product as an application framework that's used by internal and external developers to implement features for a specific industry. And as a matter of fact, the business aspires to release a platform SKU, so like a platform product that's focused solely on application development, and it would not contain any e-discovery functionality. What's important to mention is that Relativity platform is very flexible. So customers use the platform to create a wide variety of solutions, everything from like simple template containing just a few objects to full featured end user applications. And I encourage you to visit the Relativity Application Hub. Just go to Google and type Relativity App Hub, and you'll get a list of many great examples of what can actually be built on the Relativity platform. So as a vertical, platform is divided into three so-called super domains, which are extensibility, services, and extensibility. And each of the super domains consists of teams that own one or more functional domains. Like, for instance, the object manager domain, hosting domain, or admin domain, just to mention a couple. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so let's take a look on how we are structured in Poland. Currently, we have 3 domain teams that are operational and are already working on their respective roadmaps. And these are admin, data services, and billing and permissions. And we are just building 2 additional teams, which will be web hosting and audit. Likely, there'll be more domain teams that we would be setting up in 2021. And the typical engineering team size is 6 to 9 people. And our team consists of an engineering manager, an engineering lead, then a mixture of senior, advanced, and regular engineers. And there is also a product manager who represents the product's voice in the team. Go to the next slide, please. So now let's take a look at the roles that we are looking for. We have a number of openings in our platform engineering organization, from like a regular engineer to lead engineer, as well as several engineering manager vacancies. We are also looking for a number of product managers who would work with those engineering teams in Poland. Each of the verticals or domains we are hiring for have their specific job and role requirements. So that's why I encourage you to visit our career site and click on an individual role to find out more. However, if you decide to apply to platform roles and if you join us, you will likely work with some of the technologies, frameworks, and practices that I listed on the right side of the slide. So this is Relativity and platform in a nutshell, but we'll be more than happy to answer any detailed questions in our breakout rooms after this presentation. So we are looking forward to meeting you there and having a more casual conversation about our company, team, and opportunities that we have for you. And with that, I'll hand it over back to Łukasz. Hey, thank you very much.
Sorry. Thank you, Sebastian. So I would like to just spend a little time to tell you more why is it worth joining us at this stage. We can go to the next slide, please. So first of all, Relativity holds a very solid market position with an annual growth of 20% and very solid financials, including zero debt. For the past few years, we've been constantly adding new teams and products to Krakow and hiring for various positions, which we continue to do right now. And we feel extremely happy to be able to provide a stable and safe working environment. Going forward, we are a talent-first organization, which means we aim to hire top talent while staying inclusive in our hiring choices. To stay competitive in the market, we provide a lot of additional benefits, which include VIP medical package, life insurance, training programs, and additional paid time off. We also have introduced a hybrid working model, which allows you to fully work from home, as well as receive an additional reimbursement for your home office expenses. When it comes to more information about our benefits, I encourage you to visit our main website. And there, as Sebastian mentioned, there will be time to ask more questions during the breakout room sessions. Thank you very much, and I'm going to pass it over to Jenny.
Hi all, my name is Jenny. I work on the employer brand team here at Relativity, and I'm just going to introduce the breakout sessions, just kind of discuss some of the logistics. So we'll have 2 breakout rooms today, one for engineering roles and then one for more of the manager and product positions. So we did pre-assign based on what you all filled out when you registered for the event. And yeah, during that time, you'll be able to meet with recruiters and hiring managers and team members to just ask questions about the roles and more information about working at Relativity. If at any point you do want to check out the other breakout room, definitely feel free to come back to this main Zoom room and we can reassign you to the other room as well. And then just quickly before we split up into the breakout rooms, I just wanted to say thanks so much for listening to this first half of the presentation. I did want to mention that we do have another upcoming event tomorrow. If you're interested in learning more about our security team, they're going to be hosting a webinar fireside chat. And then just a reminder to stay connected with us on social media for just all updates about Relativity. And then, yeah, we'll move into the breakout rooms now.